The room doesn't shake when Lucifer walks in. It freezes. Every voice dies. Every demon goes still. Even the air feels like it's waiting for permission to move. Because this isn't just another overlord stepping into the Hazbin hotel. This is the king, the original fallen, the one name hell itself answers to. And standing across from him, smiling like he's been waiting his whole life for this moment, is Alastor. The radio demon doesn't bow. He doesn't step back. He doesn't even stop smiling. If anything, that grin stretches wider, like a man who just found the one opponent worth his time. Lucifer tilts his head slightly. Not anger. Not yet. Just curiosity. Like he's looking at something interesting. "You must be the one making all this noise," Lucifer says, voice calm, smooth, controlled. Alastor taps his microphone cane against the floor. A soft crackle of static spills into the silence. "And you must be the one who thinks he owns it," Alastor replies. The tension snaps into place. Everyone else in the room backs away. Instinct. Survival. Even the boldest demons know better than to stand between these two. Lucifer takes a single step forward. The ground beneath him fractures, not from force, from presence. Power leaks off him like gravity, pressing down on everything nearby. The walls groan, the lights flicker, reality itself feels thinner around him. Alastor doesn't move. Instead, the shadows behind him begin to twist. They stretch, bend, and crawl along the walls like living things. The temperature drops. A low hum fills the air like an old radio tuning into something wrong. Two forces, two kings, two completely different kinds of terror. Lucifer speaks first. "You're entertaining," he says, "but you're still just noise." Alastor chuckles. That old-timey, cheerful laugh that feels completely out of place in a moment like this. "Oh, I do hope I'm more than that." Then it happens. Lucifer moves. No warning. No build-up. 1 second he's standing still. The next he's right in front of Alastor. A blur. A hand shoots forward, aiming straight for Alastor's throat. But Alastor vanishes. Static explodes outward. A loud burst of radio interference fills the room as his form flickers and reappears 10 feet away. Now, Alastor says, brushing imaginary dust off his suit. "Let's not rush things." Lucifer doesn't smile anymore. He raises his hand again. This time the air bends. A wave of force slams forward, invisible but undeniable. The floor cracks as it travels, ripping through the space between them. Alastor slams his cane down. Shadows erupt upward like spikes, forming a wall just in time. The impact hits. The entire room explodes outward. Walls shatter. Windows blow out. Furniture disintegrates into splinters. The shockwave alone would have erased any normal demon instantly. But through the debris, both of them are still standing. Lucifer lowers his hand slowly. "Better," he mutters. Alastor's grin sharpens. "Oh, we're just getting started." The shadows around Alastor surge. They don't just move, they grow. Massive tendrils rise from the ground, twisting and writhing like living creatures. Eyes open within them. Smiling mouths stretch across their surfaces. The radio demon doesn't fight like a brute, he performs. And now the stage is set. The tendrils lash forward. Lucifer doesn't dodge. He walks. Every step he takes tears through the shadows like they aren't even there. They dissolve on contact, breaking apart before they can touch him. But there are too many. One wraps around his arm, another snaps at his leg. For a split second they hold him. Alastor's eyes flash, the shadows tighten, and then Lucifer flexes. That's all it takes. The shadows explode into nothing, not torn apart, not pushed back, erased. Alastor's smile flickers for the first time. Lucifer looks at him now with something closer to interest. "You're strong," Lucifer says, "for someone pretending to matter." That lands. But Alastor doesn't show it. Instead, he raises his cane slowly. The static returns, louder this time. The entire space distorts. Reality bends like a warped broadcast signal. Colors shift, shapes stretch. The world itself begins to look wrong. Lucifer glances around, not confused, just noticing. "You think you can control the stage," Lucifer says. Alastor tilts his head. "I don't think." The world snaps. They're no longer in the hotel. They're in Alastor's domain. A twisted, endless void filled with floating radio towers, tangled wires, and grinning shadows that stretch into infinity. Every surface pulses with static. Here, Alastor is stronger. Here, he controls everything. Or at least, he thinks he does. Lucifer stands still for a moment. Then he sighs. "You brought me into your world," he says. "That's your mistake." Alastor's eyes narrow slightly. Lucifer lifts his hand, and the illusion cracks. Not slowly, instantly. The radio towers collapse into dust. The shadows freeze. The entire space fractures like glass under pressure. Lucifer steps forward, and Alastor's world shatters. They're back in the ruins of the hotel. Alastor stumbles half a step. That's the first real sign. Lucifer saw it. "So that's your trick," Lucifer says quietly. Alastor recovers instantly. The smile returns, but it's tighter now. Sharper. More forced. "You're quite the difficult guest," Alastor says. Lucifer doesn't respond. He disappears again. This time, Alastor barely reacts fast enough. Lucifer's fist connects, a direct hit. Alastor is launched across the room, crashing through what's left of the walls and slamming into the ground outside. The impact shakes the entire area. Dust rises. Silence. Then static. Alastor stands back up, slowly. His suit is torn, his smile still there. But now there's something behind it. Something darker. Something real. "Now that," Alastor says, voice slightly distorted, "was rude." The shadows don't rise this time. They flood. The ground itself turns black as darkness spreads outwards, swallowing everything in its path. Massive forms begin to rise from it. Not tendrils. Monsters. Huge. Twisted. Screaming. Each one moving with intent. Each one aiming straight for Lucifer. Lucifer watches them come. And then he laughs. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just amused. "You're still trying to overwhelm me," he says. The first monster reaches him. Lucifer raises a single finger. It stops. Completely. Frozen mid-attack. Lucifer flicks his finger. The creature collapses into nothing. The rest follow. One by one. With every small movement from Lucifer, another one disappears. No struggle. No resistance. Just gone. Alastor pushes harder. More creatures, bigger, faster, stronger. It doesn't matter. Lucifer walks through them like they don't exist. Because to him, they don't. Finally, Lucifer stands directly in front of Alastor again, close enough to end it. "You're entertaining," Lucifer repeats, "but you're not on my level." The words hit harder than any attack. Alastor's grin twitches. For the first time, there's anger in his eyes. Real anger. The static around him spikes violently. The shadows surge one last time, concentrating into a single massive form behind him. A towering, monstrous silhouette with glowing eyes and a mouthful of jagged teeth. Everything Alastor has, all of it, poured into one final attack. He swings his cane. The monster lunges. Lucifer doesn't move. The creature reaches him and stops. Not because it's blocked, because it's afraid. For a split second, even Alastor feels it. That pressure. That presence. That absolute, undeniable authority. Lucifer raises his hand and places it on the creature's head. It disintegrates instantly. Gone. Like it was never there. Silence falls again. Lucifer looks back at Alastor. This time, there's no curiosity left. Just finality. "This is over," Lucifer says. Alastor stands there, still smiling, but now it's different. Not confident, not playful, just stubborn. He adjusts his tie. "Perhaps," he says, and then he vanishes. Not in defeat. Not in surrender, but in retreat. The static fades, the shadows disappear, and just like that, the radio demon is gone. Lucifer stands alone in the ruins. For a moment, he says nothing. Then he exhales. "Interesting," he mutters, because even though Alastor lost, he lasted longer than most. And in hell, that means something. Somewhere far away in the dark corners where even kings don't look too closely, Alastor reappears. His smile returns fully this time, wider than ever. Because to him, that wasn't a loss. That was a preview. And next time, he plans to make it a show worth remembering. Alastor doesn't run. He relocates. There's a difference. The moment he reappears, the world around him reshapes to fit his presence. A broken district of hell, quiet, empty, untouched. The kind of place where screams don't echo because nothing survives long enough to make them. He stands still for a second. Then his hand tightens around his cane. The smile stays, but the performance drops. His voice, when he speaks, carries no audience charm. So that's the ceiling. He replays the fight in his head. Every move, every failure, every moment where Lucifer didn't even try. That's the part that sticks. Lucifer wasn't serious. Not once. Alastor taps his cane again. A faint ripple of static answers him, but weaker than before. He notices. His eyes narrow. Unacceptable. The shadows around him twitch, but they don't surge like before. They hesitate. That never happens. For the first time in a long time, something inside Alastor shifts. Not fear, not doubt. Something colder. Calculation. He looks up slowly. "Well then, if brute force doesn't work," the grin sharpens again, "we change the program. Cut back to the Hazbin Hotel, or what's left of it." Lucifer hasn't moved much. The ruins still settle around him. Dust drifts through the air like slow snow. The silence stretches, but he's not alone. Charlie stands a distance away, tense, watching him. "You didn't have to do that," she says. Lucifer doesn't look at her immediately. "He challenged me." "That doesn't mean you had to crush him." Lucifer finally turns his head. "I didn't crush him." A pause. "If I did, he wouldn't have left." Charlie doesn't respond to that, because she knows he's right. Lucifer looks back at the empty space where Alastor stood. He'll be back. Not a guess. A fact. And something about the way he says it carries interest. Elsewhere. Time passes, not much, but enough. Alastor moves through hell differently now. No grand entrances, no loud broadcasts, no dramatic displays. He watches, he listens, he studies. Overlords, territories, old powers, forgotten forces buried beneath hell's surface. Things even Lucifer doesn't pay attention to anymore. That's where Alastor looks, because if he can't overpower Lucifer, then he'll outplay him. One night, deep in a decaying sector of hell, Alastor stops. The air feels wrong here. Heavy, ancient, perfect. He taps his cane once. "Come now," he says lightly. No need to hide. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the ground shifts. A low voice crawls up from beneath the surface. "You shouldn't be here, radio demon." Alastor's grin returns in full. "Oh, but I should." The ground cracks open slightly. A presence pushes through. Not fully formed. Not visible, but powerful. Old power. The kind that doesn't care about kings. Alastor tilts his head. "I'm looking for an upgrade." Silence. Then a low, rumbling laugh. "You think you can challenge Lucifer Morningstar?" Alastor doesn't hesitate. "I intend to." Another pause. Then the presence speaks again. "Then you'll need more than shadows." Alastor's eyes flicker. Now they're getting somewhere. Back at the hotel. Reconstruction has started. Slowly. Painfully. Charlie moves through the mess, trying to rebuild something out of what's left. Vaggie helps. Others too. Lucifer remains, not helping, just watching, waiting. Because he knows this isn't finished. Suddenly, the lights flicker, not like before. This time it's different, sharper, more focused. Lucifer's eyes shift slightly. He's back. But something's changed. The air doesn't grow cold. It hums, a deep layered frequency that wasn't there before. Then static, but not the same static. This one feels heavier. Alastor appears at the entrance, clean, untouched, smiling, but behind that smile there's something new, something deeper, something that wasn't there before. Charlie steps back slightly. "Alastor?" He doesn't answer her. His eyes are locked on Lucifer. Lucifer studies him carefully, and for the first time, he doesn't speak immediately, because he feels it, that difference. "You've been busy," Lucifer says. Alastor chuckles. "Oh, I took your advice." Lucifer raises an eyebrow. "I never gave you any." Alastor spins his cane once. "You told me I wasn't on your level." The static hum grows louder. "So I fixed that." The ground beneath Alastor darkens again, but this time, it doesn't spread wildly. It compresses, condenses, power, focused into something tighter, controlled. Lucifer takes a step forward. "Show me." That's all the invitation Alastor needs. He moves first this time. No delay, no theatrics, just speed. Faster than before. Lucifer reacts instantly, but there's a difference now. When their forces collide, the impact holds for half a second. That didn't happen before. Lucifer notices Alastor grins wider they exchange blows. Fast, precise. Lucifer still dominates the pace, but now Alastor keeps up. Not perfectly, but enough to matter. Enough to make this a fight. The room shakes again, but this time it's not one-sided destruction, it's collision. Lucifer swings, Alastor blocks with a shadow construct. It cracks but doesn't break instantly. Progress. Lucifer's eyes sharpen. So you learned. Alastor's voice cuts through the noise. I adapt. Lucifer lunges again. This time Alastor doesn't dodge, he counters. Their attacks meet head on. A shockwave erupts outwards, stronger than before. Charlie is forced back, the others scatter. This is no longer something they can stand near. Lucifer steps back slightly. That alone is new. Alastor sees it, and for the first time, he presses forward. The shadows don't swarm anymore, they strike. Targeted, precise, controlled bursts aimed at weak points. Lucifer blocks most of them, but one grazes him barely. Still, contact. That's enough. Lucifer looks down at the mark, then back at Alastor. And slowly he smiles, not mockery, not amusement, recognition. Good, Lucifer says. Now he's interested, really interested. The next exchange is faster, much faster. Lucifer stops holding back. The difference is immediate. He moves with intent now. Power spikes, the ground caves in under the pressure. Alastor reacts, but this is another level. Lucifer lands a hit. Alastor is thrown back, but not as far as before. He recovers mid-air, stabilizes, comes back in. This time, when Lucifer attacks, Alastor bends the space around the strike. Not a full illusion, a distortion. Lucifer's attack shifts slightly off target. That's new. Lucifer notices again. Clever. Alastor doesn't respond. He keeps pushing. Because now, this isn't about proving something. This is about closing the gap. They clash again and again. Each hit louder than the last, each second more intense. Alastor is still losing, but not instantly, not effortlessly. He's forcing Lucifer to fight, and that alone changes everything. Finally, they break apart. Both standing, both focused. Lucifer exhales slowly. Now this, he says, is a fight. Alastor adjusts his tie again, and we're still warming up. The static hum builds again, but now it blends with something else. Something older. That presence from before. Lucifer feels it. His expression shifts slightly. What did you do? Alastor's smile widens. I expanded my range. The ground beneath them cracks again, but this time something else rises with the shadows. Not creatures, not constructs. Something deeper. Something that doesn't belong to Alastor alone. Lucifer watches carefully, because now this isn't just Alastor's power anymore. And that finally makes things interesting.